Well, hello everyone. My name's Andy. I'm the Vision 6 product trainer. Thank you very much for joining today's Vision 6 Power Session, Easily Create Emails That Convert. It's great to see so many of you have joined today, so thank you very much. Today we'll run through a couple of things just on the slides here, and then we'll jump straight into product and put some of these things into practice. So if you're new to the Vision 6 Power Sessions, just to take you through how they work, they're short and sharp, generally around 20 minutes max, and they're designed to let you learn something new and then get straight back on with your day. And of course, we do have a question option available for you as well. So if you do have any questions, please just pop them into the Q&A panel that is provided in the Zoom window. And we'll have a look at those questions and run through those at the end. The session is recorded as well, apart from the questions. So what we'll do is we'll be sending through the recording to you in the next couple of days as well, if you'd like to rewatch anything. So how do we create emails that convert easily? So we've got a couple of steps to run through. So step one is just to plan out your campaign. It could be as simple as just a single email send, or it could be an array of sends that are structured and follow on from one another. So the first step is just to plan that and work out what are we actually trying to do with this email? What's the goal of this email? The next step then is to create the assets required for that email. And finally, we want to report on the email to make sure that, well, did it achieve what we set out to do in the first place? Did it create clicks? Did it cause purchases on the website? That type of thing. So let's drill down a little bit into these steps. So step one, plan your campaign. So what is the actual goal of the email? What do you want people to do as a result of receiving your email? Should they click on a link and buy something from your website? Should they complete a survey, book an online webinar? Just have a think about what the actual goal of the email is. And it could even be as simple as just having the user read some important information. That could be the goal of the email as well. Secondly, who is the audience? Is it everyone on your Vision 6 list who's receiving this email? Or is it just specific people? Or, for example, people in a certain state, people who like a certain type of food, if you've got that sort of segmentation available on your list, and that type of thing. So just have a look and see who is going to receive it, if anyone who's on your list or everyone. And then as part of the planning, have a think about what parts of the email we can personalize. If you have the user's first name, that's always a good thing to pop in the subject line. That will increase the email's open rate. And generally the open rate of an email is determined or is helped a lot by the way the subject reads and what's contained within the subject. So personalizing the subject at a minimum is a great idea if you have the data available to do so. But you can also do a little bit more about that with the personalization side of things, which we'll go through shortly as well. And then within the planning stages, have a think about how you would define and measure success. Was it to receive an open rate of higher than 20 or 30%, for example? Or was it that 8% of people clicked on a particular button on the email or went to the website? Or was it that 20% of people purchased something from the website of those who clicked through? So also have a think about how you define success and measure that. Because at the end of the day, the reason you're sending an email is to have some sort of goal in mind with that email. So having a think about what that goal is, how it can be achieved, and then even having a look at how you can improve on that next time. What things might you tweak in the email to get better success next time? Maybe A/B test the subject line, try less images, more images, different images, that type of thing can all play into that planning stage. Once we've got our plan down pat, the next step is to then go and create our assets. So create the various images that you think you might be about to use in your email design. Also have a think about the text you'll use, the subject line in your email as well. And again, you can A/B test that within Vision 6. And the personalizations that you might put in the text and the subject line as well from the previous step there. And then we'll, of course, go and build that email within Vision 6, which we're going to do shortly. And then from the reporting side of things, once your email has been sent, given a little bit of time, it's always a good idea to jump into the reports function. Again, we do have small power sessions about some of these particular steps as well. We're only doing high level today. But you can then report on the open rate of the email and have a look at how that went compared to previous sends or even future sends. And generally, the open rate is driven by the subject line. You can then also review the click-through rate of the email. So how many people clicked on something on the email and sort of took that next step. And that's generally driven by how successful your content was and how clear your CTAs or call to actions within the email were. So again, it's that driver to get the user to click something and take the next step. Again, fill out a form, purchase something on the website, and so on and so forth. So again, that's defining those goals within the email. Of course, the third section there under reporting is we do have that heat map data available as well, or click map available in Vision 6 reporting, and that's driven by the design of the email. So how good does the email look? And is it clear for the user to know what to do, what button should they click on, what link should they click on, and so on. And it's also good to have a well-defined call to action, not try and have lots of things in the email all try and get the user to click on something and attract the user's attention. It should be a clear goal per email message. So when thinking about how to easily create emails that convert, it's a good idea to have a think about the email and see that, well, does it have a good mixture of text and images? Is it not too heavy on either of those areas? Is it easy to read with short sections of text, not just sort of long blocks of text? People tend to skim read these days. So using clear, defined headings and titles within the email to break out the different sections, and use bullet points, some numbered lists is great as well. And just have short paragraphs made up of sort of 2 or 3 sentences at most, and then start another paragraph under that just to keep it nice and easy to read and clear. Also, is the email personalized, and what can we personalize? Is there a clear call to action? And is the subject line engaging enough for the user to go and click on it amongst all of the probably hundreds of other emails that might be sitting in their inbox if it's anything like mine? All right, so let's get started. We're going to jump into Vision 6 now, and we've got an email we're going to send out for a fictitious company called XYZ Donuts. And what we're going to do is pop a banner in that email. It's a recipe club email to get people to sign up to our recipe club. We're going to add in a sample image of the ebook that people will get as part of the recipe club. So again, it's just driving that engagement through the email to show them what they will receive as part of the recipe club. And it's a free club in this fictitious donut company shop here. We're also going to add multiple personalization emails or personalization elements to our email as well. You'll see on the right-hand side, apologies, it's a little small, but our list, we have our customers' email addresses, the first name, last name, and their dietary as well. So we can do some personalization based on that information, particularly with the dietary as well. That could work quite well for our readers, knowing that we'll have recipes available for the various dietary there that we have as well, which would be good. Again, increasing the engagement on the email because it's personalized. And then we'll also add in a button to join the recipe club. So I'll just jump into the product now here, and I've got one that I've sort of started the base of the email. Unfortunately, these sessions are only 20 minutes, so I had to do some prep work. Here's one I prepared earlier, as they say. So we have a sort of a base email here. We've got the text broken up into the different paragraphs, but there's no imagery as yet, and there's no personalization as yet. So let's go and pop a few things into this email. So I'm going to grab an image component and just pop that through here above the introduction of the title and underneath the web link. So this is where we're going to pop our banner for the email that we're going to use today. So I have a banner here already made. Now you'll notice the banner is a lot larger than the width of the email, or a little bit less than double. That's okay though. With Vision 6 and the image component, it will automatically scale that in to fit, and it looks nice. It's still nice and crisp for the user to have a look at. And you can have a think about when you're building things with imagery and that type of thing in your email, use a few little, I guess this one is using the color purple, which is our donut company's color here, you'll see. So the image is sort of bringing that color scheme through. I just happened to select an image that had a bit of purple in it. So think about when you're using imagery, you're sort of subtly including those color hints as well to again draw the user's eye into various parts of the email. Because if we're making an email that converts, it needs to look good as well as have a clear call to action and that type of thing in it. So now let's pop in some personalizations now that we've got the banner in the top there. So we've got our user's first name as one of the fields on our list here in Vision 6 for our donut club. So let's pop in the user's first name right at the end here. So join our free club, Andy, for example. So just pop a space in there, and on the floating toolbar on the wildcard here, I'm just going to drop down and pick the first name field. Now we can do a fallback. What a fallback means, or what it does, is if this gets sent to someone and we don't have their first name on file, it will say something else instead. That's good for an introduction where you can say, "Hi, Andy," and if we don't have the first name, it can say, "Hi there," or something like that. But in this instance, it will actually read okay even if they don't have a first name on file. So in our case, join our free club, Andy, and if there is no first name, join our free club. So it didn't use a fallback there because it still reads okay. Let's also pop in an introduction there. So hi, and we'll go and grab the first name again, but this time we'll use the fallback of there, just like before, same as before, but using a fallback this time. So now our email will have an introduction of hi Andy, and if there's no first name again, hi there in that case. So far so good. So we've got the banner in there, and we've got 2 personalizations in there as well. But one other thing you might remember is on our list, we know our recipients' dietary. So for example, paleo, vegan, gluten-free, and so on. So we know that our recipe club booklets or recipe booklets that people get contain recipes for all different types of dietaries. So why don't we pop that into our email? Because those people who have that on their file, that'll again resonate better with them, and they're more likely to engage and click through on the email. So I can think of a couple of places where inserting their dietary might go quite well, but let's just pop it in right here before the word recipe. So again, we'll go to wildcard, pick our dietary, and again, we won't use a fallback because it will just be blank for those people who don't have one on file. Excellent. So what our email is going to read now is, or how it's going to read now is, with our easy to follow recipes, gluten-free recipe ideas, or vegan recipe ideas, or paleo recipe ideas, and so on. And if they don't have a dietary on file, this will not display, and it will still read correctly with recipe ideas and more. So again, just putting in those little personalization hints throughout the email to ensure that everyone on our database is catered for. And again, they're going to see that and go, oh, hang on, they've got recipes for me. I might go and join the recipe club. So that's a good way to have a look at how to engage people with content and just personalizing it for them as well. Nearly off towards the end here, I'm going to switch on the image, on this image component here, and double click. And in here, I'm going to pop in a front cover image of our ebook that we have. Might just make that a little bit bigger as well. So again, people can see what they're receiving as part of the Recipe Club email. Got a nice little photo of the ebook render available there as well. And if I wanted to, I could change the alignment of this, change the sizing, and link this through to the sign-up form as well, which I would normally do if I had more time. But again, just sort of limited with the time in this session today, but some things to think about there. And finally, we'll pop in the nice, clear call to action button. I'm going to give this section, so I've pulled in a button there from the sidebar. I'm going to give this section a white background just to match the rest of our email. And I'll make the button on brand. I'll give that a purple color that suits our branding as well. And why don't we go something like yes to free recipes as our nice call to action. And again, what I would do here is link that through with the link options on the right-hand side there to the Vision 6 form, which is a subscription form to our Recipe Club list. So anyone who gets this from our customers list presses that, and they can then sign up to our Recipe Club list and join that club as well. So there we go. We've sort of created a nice looking email there. We have a nice amount of white space around the button, and you can adjust that with the padding and that type of thing available with the different components here as well. So it's important to think about having an email which has a nice amount of white space, a good mix of text and imagery, not too heavy, and then creating those line breaks within the paragraphs as well, just to make it not too busy there on the left-hand side of the email. And if we could quickly jump into preview mode. Okay, so as I flick through the contacts I'll have on my list, you'll see that we've got the first name here, Tom, twice, and he's gluten-free, so it's showing the word gluten-free there. As I flick through my next contact, you'll see Penelope, we've got Nigel's gluten-free there as well, and so on. So you can just sort of use the preview function to test your email and make sure that it's loading correctly for all the different personalizations that you've popped into it. Fantastic, looking good and ready to send. Obviously, test that first, make sure the links are working, and then everything will go okay there. Well, that's sort of a quick look at how to easily create emails that convert. I've got a few other upcoming power sessions to go through before we'll go through any questions. So we've got this one running again a couple more times over the next few months. We also have one that looks at reporting. I believe that one is this Thursday, which is how to boost ROI with your real-time reporting insights, how to get more from marketing and email, marketing with email and SMS automation. And we'll look at a couple of Vision 6 different tricks available as well. And you can register for other sessions via the web link there. Thank you very much for joining.